Hey ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. As always, it is Nick here, back to your daily crypto news and analysis. And today we are going to be talking about a few things. Obviously, yes, Ripple and XRP will be brought up in conversation because we have seen some significant traction from the SEC just recently. And we are going to go over it and address a few things and really kind of talk about what their overall game plan is. And we are going to address some of the information regarding these huge moves being made by the SEC. And when I say huge moves, I mean they are literally targeting crypto exchanges yet again. And it's the same crypto exchange that they've already targeted and had paydays from. So we're going to go over it. We're going to address it. But before we fully get into things, I just hope that everybody's having a great day or a great night wherever you guys are. And with that, let's dive on in. So the SEC sues Kraken crypto exchange. Now, this is not the first time. We will go over that here in a second, but I do want to address a few things within this in terms of information. I also do have this post over here from Orlando Bitcoin, which did go in depth on this. It's definitely significant to look over this, so we are going to go over it as well. But within this, the US SEC is suing the Kraken crypto exchange, charging the platform with operating as an unregistered securities exchange, broker, dealer, and clearing agency. The commission put out a release today revealing the suit and its charges. Now, like I said, as we look into this, this is not the first time. It's insane that this is happening yet again. Now, here we have the SEC is attempting to charge the Kraken crypto exchange with the following. Provides a marketplace that brings together the orders for securities of multiple buyers and sellers using established non-discretionary methods under which such orders interact and thus operate as an exchange. Engages in the business of effecting securities transactions for the accounts of Kraken customers and thus operates as a broker. Engages in the business of buying and selling securities for its account without an applicable exception, and thus operates as a dealer and serves as an intermediary in settling transactions in crypto asset securities by Kraken customers, acts as a securities depository, and thus operates as a clearing agency. And again, here we have them talking a little bit more about endangering customer information in the lawsuit as well. It's pretty crazy that we're seeing these exchanges being targeted heavily right now. For an example, right? There is also an announcement that the US is seeking over $4 billion from Binance, which I will address in this video as well. It's pretty interesting. And you actually have the article here. But under this, we have the lawsuit was filed in San Francisco, California earlier this year. Kraken already agreed to cease operating or selling securities through crypto asset staking services or staking programs and pay a civil penalty of $30 million. Kraken has yet to comment on the SEC's lawsuit. Now, we actually did get a little bit of a comment from Kraken, which we will go over. Now, with that, we want to go over here to the Orlando Bitcoin post because he read the 90-page compliant documents and he summarized it. So at first, we do get the overall announcement here, but then this is basically the same allegations against Coinbase. So the SEC is taking another crack at the apple, this time in San Francisco. I've written a pretty lengthy breakdown of the Coinbase complaints. Many of the allegations are recycled here, so I'm not going to rehash most of it and instead focus on what's new. And then down here we do see the SEC alleges Kraken commingled $33 billion of customer assets and $5 billion of customer cash with its own assets, creating what its own auditors called a significant risk of loss to customers and leading to material errors to Kraken's financial statements for 2020 and 2021. Down here, this seems to me to be a response to FTX. The SEC is focusing on commingling of funds as a bad fact, especially in light of FTX, to highlight why Kraken customers need the protections and separation of businesses that come from licensed broker-dealers, exchanges, and clearinghouses. Now, down here we do see, like Coinbase, the SEC alleges Kraken operated a platform where crypto was sold to investment contracts. Indeed, in a somewhat comical allegation, the SEC notes that Kraken has supported tokens that the SEC itself has previously alleged are securities, and those include a substantial list: ADA, AXS, Algo, Atom, CHZ, Cody, Dash, Filecoin, Flow, ICP, Mana, Matic, Near, OMG, Sand, and even Solana. Again, comical. There's nothing here to prove that these tokens are securities. We already know that the SEC has lost this battle multiple times. But nonetheless, mind you, no court has found these tokens to be securities, and it's courts, not the SEC, that determine whether a token is a security. So the self-referential allegation holds no legal water. Specifically, the SEC alleges here that Kraken allowed the following crypto securities to be traded on its platform, and here are those tokens. These tokens were discussed in the Binance and Coinbase complaints. You could see here for some of the reasons why the SEC alleges they are securities. Another new allegation is that the product teams were able to make primary sales on Kraken, including via MMs, market makers. The previous exchange cases just focused on secondary sales. That said, no 33 Securities Act claim here, like acting as an underwriter. The SEC also, compared to Coinbase, seems to hammer on Kraken's operations that may raise more conflicts of interest, which is more so the OTC desk, where Kraken was the market maker, and that Kraken ran its own prop desk, though only for half of 2020, it seems. Some of the allegations regarding Kraken's operations are interesting, but legally, this case is just a repeat of Coinbase. And just like Coinbase, the case will turn on whether the tokens listed here are securities. Like I mentioned, it really seems like the SEC is just using this as a second bite of the apple. It filed in San Francisco, which is governed by the 9th Circuit. Coinbase was filed in New York City, which is governed by the 2nd Circuit. Additionally, Judge Falia, the Coinbase case judge, has shown in the Uniswap case that she's willing to take an honest look at crypto and recognize how, in many cases, U.S. securities laws don't apply to crypto. Also down here, if the SEC loses Coinbase, well, it'll be much harder for them to win on appeal, and Coinbase has shown a willingness to take this case to SCOTUS. That would create good crypto law in the 2nd Circuit. This case allows the SEC to take another swing with relatively worse facts, at least as alleged in the complaints, potentially draw a more sympathetic judge, and create bad crypto law in the 9th Circuit. This is all just seems to be part of the SEC Chair Gary Gensler's war of attrition against crypto. I hope Kraken decides to marshal its resources and fight this head on. Enough is enough. And yes, it is, right? But beyond this, we did get comment from Kraken. They are going to fight this. They are going to defend their position heavily. And again, today's news has no impact on the products we offer, and we will continue to provide services to our clients without interruption. So they are not ceasing operations. They are going to continue to fight this. And I do think that them with Coinbase should be fighting back heavy here. But beyond that, right? Guess what? When we look at a few things happening here, one, they are looking for another payday from Kraken. They already got paid $30 million. Apparently, the $30 million was not enough back in February of this year, so not too long ago either. And Jeremy Hogan said, everyone feel protected again? Because this is a joke. Like, as we look at what's happening here, like, what is the true focus point? Well, we already know what it is. In fact, Hasher Ventures quoted this. The SEC's goal here may be to weaken or bankrupt Kraken, setting it up for an acquisition by the incumbents. Now, I thought about this for a second, and to some people this might seem, not too realistic, but ultimately speaking, this is right on par with what we have seen this year already. We have seen all of the major incumbents launching or trying to launch custody services, looking into, ETFs, looking into getting heavy into crypto. And as we look at that, right, the incumbents are jumping in. The best way to feed them this market is by utilizing the regulators. And what's crazy about this is, like, yes, the US government is seeking over $4 billion from Binance at the same time. We already know that Coinbase and Kraken are being sued and charged for unregistered securities exchange. So it seems as though the SEC and the regulators, well, they are being instructed by these big incumbents to go after specific targets to weaken this market in order for the incumbents to own large portions of it. And if you think I'm crazy for saying that, well, that's okay. Because we know back in April of this year, right around the same time that we started to see some major exchanges being targeted, and we also started to see banks collapsing, Well, nothing is a coincidence with the government, claims U.S. lawmaker on Operation Choke Point 2.0. This is all a part of the same moves here. When we scroll down, right? So we can see a few things. One, Operation Choke Point 2.0 was to limit crypto business access to banking services, really kind of cutting off the liquidity. But here's a direct quote. What I've seen in my short time in Congress is that nothing is a coincidence with the government agency. They are talking across lines a lot more than they ever used to. They are finding various ways to squeeze an outcome that they want. Now, who is a part of this, right? Well, the regulators are a part of this. Major key players are a part of this. Banking, like pro bankers are a part of this. Like, this seems to me as though they are trying to get to their full outcome. Now, what Donalds actually believes here, because this is Brian Donalds, this is the congressman. Well, he believes that the Federal Reserve is laying the foundation for CBDC. And with these recent enforcement actions, it's all a part of the plan for the digital dollar. Now, I'm not too sure if that's the case. I personally believe that they are trying to give as much power as possible to the suits and to the incumbent bankers. And as we really kind of look at what has happened recently, it really kind of solidifies that. Like, listen, they are going after the exchanges. The exchanges are the blood in this market. It truly is. Without the exchanges, it's going to be very, very hard to have on and off ramps to and from crypto. Not everyone is going to utilize the decentralized exchange. And even then, again, it's very hard to get liquidity onto a decentralized exchange. So as we really kind of look at what's happening here, I do believe that they are trying to give the incumbents as much power as possible. But the big question is, will the SEC even win? Because this year, we have seen the SEC take L after L after L, including, of course, with Ripple and XRP. And we do see Johnny Deaton saying the SEC filed against Library in the First Circuit, filed against Ripple and Coinbase in the Second Circuit, filed against Dragon Chain and Kraken FX in the Ninth Circuit. Gary Gensler is hedging his bets he will ultimately lose. Now listen, we cannot say for certain that the SEC is going to lose on all fronts here. But I do believe at this current moment in time that there has been enough moves on the regulatory side of things within crypto to have a full focus on what needs to happen here. There's enough substance here. We already have the Ripple and XRP case. Perfect example, right? Beyond that, we have seen these exchanges win in certain ways. What we need to see, though, is the SEC lose the Coinbase case. Losing the Coinbase case would put a stake in the coffin for the SEC to continue going after these exchanges, or at least most of them. The Binance news, I've already talked about this a little bit over on Twitter. This to me seems like FUD. It seems like they just want a payday at the end of the day. It's pretty crazy though. Like, when we look at what's happening here, like, what this screams to me is the US government wants a backdoor deal to get $4 billion in order for Binance to continue doing what they are doing wrong. Like, it's insane to me that none of this is about protecting anyone. It's more so about getting paydays. And I think that that's the same exact thing with the SEC. It's not about protecting anyone. It's about building this resume, allowing the incumbents to swoop in into this market and, gain a ton of dominance. Like, at the end of the day, they are feeding this market to the incumbents. And I question on if BlackRock's ETF and all of these major incumbents are going to get their ETFs approved or not. It's definitely interesting. I think that everyone's expecting them to get approved, so maybe they are just utilizing it as manipulation for the market. Again, we already know that that's what they do. So maybe they are already working with the SEC. Maybe they already have plans to have the ETF approved at the perfect time. We don't know, right? We could speculate all day long. But one thing is certain to me, all of these major moves being made by the SEC is only solidifying the fact that the SEC is on a warpath. to try to belittle this entire market down to a point where the incumbents can swoop in and grab a large stake of the pie. So with that in mind, let me know what you guys think. Do you guys think I'm right on that? Do you guys think that I'm overthinking this? What do you guys think down in the comments below? I'd love to hear your thoughts. If you guys did enjoy the video, definitely leave a like, subscribe, turn notifications on. Also, if you guys want more free content, you guys are more than welcome to follow me over on Twitter, as well as join the free Discord down in the description below. Also, if you guys do want to get your very own crypto apparel, the winter and fall drop over on tokenizedthreads.com just dropped. It's a pretty substantial catalog. There's a ton of items on here, especially XRP. We have XRP to the moon. We have tokenized threads, a full XRP design. Also, we have the XRP dad hats. We are going to be launching a lot more of these dad hats, and we are also going to be launching a lot more products very soon. I'm hoping to get a few more things out on the store before the end of the year, but it might not happen until roughly January. So definitely keep a close eye on tokenizedthreads.com. If you guys do want to go get your own apparel, links are down in the description below, as well as in the comments below. And with that being said, guys, this has been Nick. Peace out.